Hello everyone, welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I am broadcasting to you live from beautiful Budapest, Hungary. Hi Amar, hi Arcana, nice to see a sponsor in here so early on. Hi Hesped Depesh from Nepal, I hope you're doing well. Girls and guys, I hope you can hear me okay and see me okay. Hi, Baljit. Hi again, Arcana. We are experiencing some pretty wild thunder showers here in Budapest right now. So same thing yesterday, and we had a little bit of trouble with the stream. So if you're having trouble with the video or the audio, please let me know so I can try to do something about that. Again, we're having some pretty amazing heavy thunder showers here. I'm doing very well. Thank you all for asking. All right, so let's get right into it. Today we're looking at an IELTS Writing Task 2 example. This question was requested by one of our sponsors. So please, sponsors, if you have any requests, do let me know. Send me an email or contact me and we can set up those classes for you. As usual, our materials are coming from our IELTS websites. For academic IELTS, please be sure to visit us at aehelp.com. And for general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. All right, and again, if you haven't done so yet, download our app from your Google Play Store. It's Academic IELTS Help. You'll see our logo. Get the app. There's some free listening and reading practice interactive exams there for you coming from our websites. To get all of our 100+ videos and our interactive course, our 6 practice exams, again, join our full course at one of our websites. And if you're looking for IELTS speaking practice interview, you can set that up. It is a paid service, $25 US per session. You can email me at adrian@aehelp.com. You can also get writing and editing help on our websites. All right, so here's our schedule for the next couple of days. Today, again, we're doing Writing Task 2. You'll see the question will be about sharing information. Tomorrow we'll do a class on speaking, strategies and practice, and then the schedule for the last day of June and for July will be posting in tomorrow's class and on our channel. So please keep that in mind. Tomorrow's class will be a little bit different time. Tomorrow's class will be 12 p.m. or 12 o'clock Central European time. So quite a bit earlier. We have a busy afternoon, so we have to put that lesson a little bit earlier in the day. All right, so let's get to this Writing Task 2. Writing Task 2 is the last part of the exam when you're sitting down doing the test. So make sure you practice for it. It is worth the most for your writing mark. It's worth twice as much as your Task 1 score. So make sure you leave 40 minutes. And the question we're looking at today is the following. Some people believe that it is a good idea to share as much information as possible in scientific research, business, and the academic world. Others believe that some information is too important or too valuable to be shared freely. Now, this question is asking you for both views. So this type of question we're looking at today is discuss both these views and give your own opinion. So you need to discuss both of the views, and then you need to take a side or give your opinion on what you believe. As usual, most of these Task 2 questions say give reasons for your answers, include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. So it's written in first person. From my experience, I believe this is what happened to me. This is what I experienced in the world. So it's first person voice. Do not use you. Try to avoid using us or we. And you have to write at least 250 words. If you don't reach 250 words, you will start losing marks. It's 250 words minimum. If you're trying to get a band 7 or higher, you should be aiming for 270 words or more. Band 8, band 9s are often up at 300, 350 words even. All right, girls and guys. So again, let's pay close attention to what this question is asking us. Now, one of the first steps that you should do as you're getting ready to write your essay is some planning. Okay, in planning, your first step is paraphrase the question. Now, the reason why you want to paraphrase the question is to make sure you understand it clearly. Girls and guys, I still see that the number one mistake students make for task 2 is they don't answer the question, or they don't answer it well. They miss parts of the question, they miss the main point of the question, and if you don't write about the question exactly, then your mark really goes down, okay? The IELTS people don't know if you just memorized some topic on information and wrote an essay that you already had prepared at home. So you really need to focus on answering the exact question that they are giving you. It is the number one mistake. The way to avoid that is paraphrase the question. That will also give you some really useful vocabulary. Hi, Preet. I'm doing well, thank you. Hi, Jeffrey. I am paying attention to your chat, so I keep looking at that momentarily to see if you have any questions and to make sure that the stream is healthy. All right, so let's paraphrase this question together. Some people believe that it is a good idea to share as much information as possible. So try to paraphrase it piece by piece. So some people start you off, certain individuals, and you'll see that some IELTS questions are written this way. So certain individuals think that it is, what's another way to say good idea? Yeah, certain individuals think that. Baljit, you're on the same page as I am. Great, that means you're thinking the right way. So certain individuals think that it is, how's another way to say good idea? How can you say that? So try to think of your vocabulary, think of synonyms and so on. There's one word that can, great notion is okay, Chahal. Relevant, Muhammad, is not exactly. That's an antonym negative paraphrasing, Baljit, not a bad idea. I wouldn't use that one here. I'd use something different. There's one simple word that starts with an S. So let's see if anybody can come up with that word. Start off with an S. Keep it simple. Smart. Okay? A good idea is being smart. All right? That it is smart to... Is there another way to say share? Because you might be using that word often in this essay, so it is a good idea to think of some synonyms for share. Any other way to say share? As much information as possible. What's another way to say share? Distribute is okay, Jeffrey. Give is a good way, Alan. That's a great. So keep it simple. You don't need to overcomplicate your language. Give is just as good as any. So to give as much. What's another way to say information in this context? Okay. Information, again, is probably another word that you might end up repeating over and over again. So you really want to see if you can think of at least one or two other words that can paraphrase information within this context. Yeah, there you go, Salman. There you go, Jeffrey. Absolutely. In this context, knowledge is a very good way to paraphrase. So, certain individuals think that it is smart to give as much knowledge as possible in academia, research, and business as possible. Okay? So if you've gotten to this point, you're doing okay. Now again, when you're doing the IELTS, you want to practice this at home because you need to be able to paraphrase like this very quickly. You want to be able to paraphrase a question in no more than a minute, 90 seconds maximum, okay? Others ascertain. Ascertain is a nice high-level word for argue or believe that some info is overly valuable, important, and valuable to distribute freely. Thank you for that synonym for those of you who wrote it. Now, it doesn't have to be 100% paraphrased. If you can get to this level of paraphrasing where it's roughly 70-80%, that's great. Okay? If you can do it this much, paraphrase that much, you probably understand the question by this time. So, good. Now, make sure to always pay attention to this part as well. So discuss both these views and give your own information, okay? So here again, we identify the topic. That's the next part of planning, right? So step 2 in planning is identify the topic and the controlling idea. So here, what's the topic? Can anybody tell me while I'm writing this? This is planning step 2. Identify the topic, controlling idea. See if anybody's got the topic. Yeah, information or knowledge. Yeah, absolutely. That's the topic. So we're talking about knowledge here. We're talking about information. So identify the topic and controlling idea. Good job there, Baljit. Good job, Chahal. Good job, Jeffrey. Yeah, even take out the word share, girls and guys. Just keep it as simple as information. So controlling idea and apply critical thinking. Meaning what, why, how. Okay, what's the controlling idea? So what is the controlling idea? Yeah, that's right, Kira. Very good. So sharing data freely. That's what's controlling this question, right? Sharing data freely in academia, in business, in education, so basically the professional world, right? Okay, that would be the full controlling idea. So sharing information freely in the professional world. Okay, sure. So within the topic and the controlling idea, we understand what is going on here. So here, because the questions is asking us to discuss both these views, we want to think about why would we share it freely and why wouldn't we share it freely, okay? The hows are quite simple here as well. We can share information verbally, through literature, through the internet, and so on. So the focus in this question is more the why, okay? So let's try to answer these questions. Why share information freely? Okay, so what is a good answer to this? Why would we want to do that? All right. Why would we want to share information without cost or without expectation with our partners, with unknown businesses, with unknown schools? That's the end reason, Jeffrey, because it benefits all humanity, but you'd want to ask how. So Baljit's saying to complete development in every corner of the world. Okay, the world would benefit. That might get tricky to explain. Definitely, I would keep it a little bit more simple than that. So, Rob, I think you're kind of in the right direction. You say to gain knowledge. So, yeah, I definitely think that one good answer here would be to speed up the progress or development of knowledge. Science, let's say that. Any other reason? You said to benefit everyone. It's possible, okay? Okay, I think those are a couple of good reasons. So, to speed up the progress of development or knowledge, and also to benefit as many people as possible. Now, I'm not sure if B is true here. We can talk about that a little bit. It definitely enhances teaching and learning, so that's, again, to speed up the process and development of knowledge. So let's try to answer the other question here, which is, why not share knowledge freely? And it's a good one. I definitely know the answers to this one, as a lot of students expect our company to share everything for free as well, and we'd love to, but it's simply not possible. Maybe you can guess why. So why is it not a good idea to share knowledge freely in the professional world? Confidential is not a reason, Arcana or Mohammed. Instead, think about why would it be confidential, or why would there be security issues? So what are you actually trying to tell me? Okay, and I think some of you are overcomplicating it a little bit. So try to simplify it here a little bit. Knowledge or information is valuable and needs payment to sustain. Okay. Obviously, if researchers are sharing their information freely, or if companies like us are sharing all of our IELTS information freely, we just wouldn't be viable. We couldn't exist. There's a lot of people working in our company. They need food, they need shelter, they need clothes, just like everybody else. If they give away all of their knowledge and all of their research and materials freely, then they're not able to continue their work because they're not able to sustain life, right? So information is valuable and needs payment to sustain, right? So you can't keep producing information without giving payment for information, obviously. Okay, and then what's another reason? Some of you are kind of on the right topic there. You're talking about privacy issues, and not everything is appropriate to put out there, is what Abby's saying. So thank you, Gaurav, for mentioning that. By the way, girls and guys, that previous comment wasn't an advertising plug. It's just a fact of what the situation is. But Gaurav, I'm glad that you, Gaurav, I'm glad that that's what you got out of it. All right, B is information can be dangerous. Okay, so that's simplifying it. Keeping your thoughts simple, your ideas simple, is very, very useful on IELTS. It's a very good way to increase your overall band scores, not just in the writing, but all the other sections as well. However, take note that simplifying concepts and ideas in any language, whether it be English or Punjabi or Hindi or whatever your language may be, Chinese, Arabic, it's not easy. So it's something that requires practice. Simplifying ideas requires practice, and I definitely recommend that you try to do this as much as possible. So most of these concepts should be represented in very simple ways. Information can be dangerous, okay? That's why it's kept confidential. So obviously explaining to people how to create explosives, weapons of mass destruction, dangerous medical, pharmaceutical supplies or medicines or virus, bacteria, that kind of thing could be very dangerous for society if it's simply just shared freely with everyone. So information can be dangerous. All right, so if we have this why information share freely, A, B, and we have this why not share information freely, then all you need to do now is to create your thesis, okay? So this is your step 3 for your planning here, is generate your thesis. Now, of course, your thesis becomes a part of your essay. So planning step 3, while I'm doing this, start thinking about the thesis here. I would like to see some nice thesis statements. Again, remember, girls and guys, a good thesis makes a great essay. A bad thesis makes a bad essay. If you don't know what a thesis is, you really have to sit down and do your research. Do not write IELTS until you are very clear about what a thesis statement is in an essay and how you can write a good thesis statement, okay? I don't have enough time to go into great detail in this lesson about that, but you definitely need to know it, okay? So all right, so let's do that together. Let's see if anybody's come up with some thesis statements. All right, I'm giving you a chance here, so take a minute. Come up with a good thesis statement for this essay. Let's see what you can think of. It's going to be a little bit of a complex thesis. You might want to write it in 2 sentences just because you have to include a fair bit of information from these 2 why questions. So you want to get that in there as clearly as possible so your reader knows what to expect in body paragraph 1 and 2. And of course, so Begzad's saying list the negative first. So the first should be in your thesis what you don't believe is right. So if you think that it's not a good idea to share all information or as much information as possible freely, then you should have that first in your thesis, and that information should not be shared freely afterwards, okay? So I see some thesis statements coming up. Maria, you have to write about both options here because the question asks you to. So remember, girls and guys, when the question says discuss both these views and give your opinion, you need to do that. So you need to discuss both views, all right? That's what we're doing right now. It's not advantages and disadvantages, Harmeet. You might write it that way, but this question isn't necessarily asking you for advantages, disadvantages. It's just simply asking you for both of these views, okay? So Amar Wadi says, I believe that sharing information for free is not a good idea because it needs payment and it can be dangerous, Amar Wadi. So I wouldn't go into that because then you're just taking one side. You need to have both sides represented. So Baljat says, sharing information's advantages can overshadow its deficits, so it is beneficial to share as much knowledge as possible pro bono. Not bad, Baljat. Notice my corrections there. All right. Yeah, absolutely, Marissa. You'd want to separate this into body paragraph 1 and 2. So body paragraph 1 might be about sharing information freely. Body paragraph 2 would be about not doing that. Okay? Jeffrey says, researchers spend day and night on huge projects that can bring universal benefits. However, some information is hazardous in the wrong hands if everyone can attain it. Yeah, that's not bad. I think, Jeffrey, that might work better in an actual body paragraph than a thesis. So, whenever people want to improve our business, they must put information in the net and financial information so people can use it. I'm not sure about that one. He says, in my opinion, information is a form of wealth and should always be shared with a price tag on it. Okay, that's not bad. It's good for a part of the thesis, Abhilash. You might want to include some more information to show that you're discussing both sides. Whether or not to, this is from Kira B. Whether or not to share information freely has created a debate recently. While some individuals think, Kira, I think you're writing the introduction, not the thesis, okay? So let's stick to the thesis. Hi, Manisha. Nice of you to jump in. We're just at the thesis part of this task 2 question. By the way, girls and guys, if you want to see the task 2 question, it is in the stream description, so you can refer back to it. Although some reasons for sharing information freely include rapid development of science and benefit of humanity, I believe it should not be solicited without pay because information needs finance and security. Okay, so that would be a level 9 thesis, girls and guys, all right? So if you can write it like this, then you are definitely on the right track. Now, you don't need to make it as complex as this. You can write it in 2 sentences as well. But the important point here is to have this information included. So although some reasons for sharing information freely include rapid development of science and rapid benefit of humanity, I believe it should not be solicited without pay because information needs finance and security, okay? So that would be a solid thesis. Now I'm ready to write my essay. Clearly, the first part of this complex sentence, so this is a contrast, compare and contrast type of subordinating conjunction. I have the dependent clause at the beginning, starting with although. So the dependent clause here will be my body paragraph 1, and my independent clause, which is followed after this comma here, will be my body paragraph 2. I believe it should not be solicited without pay because information needs finance and security, okay? Solicited means shared or given out, Manisha. That's what solicited means. Girls and guys, if you're noticing me use new vocabulary, I'm doing that on purpose. I want to help you build your vocabulary. So if you see some words that you don't understand, like solicit, then make sure to write it down, check it in your dictionary, and learn it for future, okay? All right. So now we're ready to get going here with our essay, okay? Just a quick recap here. Planning step 1, the paraphrasing that we did here. Planning step 2, identifying the topic, controlling idea, using our critical thinking. And planning step 3, generating a good thesis statement. You must practice this at home, and you should be able to do this in just 5 minutes on the IELTS exam, okay? So with good practice, 5 minutes should be enough. You don't need to have exceptional grammar or exceptional vocabulary to do this. You just need to practice it, all right? And then your essay writing will be much more clear, much more accurate. It will be much more fluent. It will take less time. And of course, you will get a higher band score, as many of our students do. Okay, so again, you start with your introduction. The essay has 4 paragraphs. The first one is the introduction. Okay, the introduction should start with a hook. So what is a good hook for this? There's a very simple statement, hint, hint, that you could use as a hook for this. I wonder if somebody will think of it. Basically, there's a 3-word hook that could be very, very good for this essay. I wonder if anybody will come up with it. Hint, think about the word information. Okay? Baljat, a hook is an interesting global statement using the topic that captures the attention of the reader. Okay? I'm just adjusting the light here, girls and guys, if you're wondering about me. Information is not cheap is a good one, Jeffrey. I think that would be a very good hook. Absolutely, we could use that. Manisha, knowledge is something. You have the first 2 words right, okay? A hook is a global, interesting fact that gets you focused on your essay. It shows the reader your topic, and it makes them interested in what you're about to write, okay? Manisha, there's 1 word that you can use to replace important to gain. Kira, you're very close. Knowledge is not precious. Knowledge is power, okay? So that could be a very simple hook for this one. Knowledge is power, all right? That is an ancient saying or expression that is believed and used around the world, and it really makes sense for this essay. So if you can come up with it, hey, that's great, all right? All right, so now we want to give some background information. Background information should include your definitions and importance of question. Okay. So here, what you want to do is you want to show your reader that you understand what you're discussing, you understand what you are required to explain, and you want to show the reader that you understand why this question is so important, okay? So here we can say freedom of expression and opinion, freedom of expression and speech is a crucial part of most modern societies. Within this culture, many people, I just heard that. Just give me 1 second here. I'll bring it back up for you. Here we go. My camera decided to have a little bit of a snooze. Okay, and you can see the board again, hopefully in about a moment here. There we go. All right. That's my little baby girl, Zahra. Thank you for complimenting her cuteness. All right, so let's get back to the point here. There are different ways that you could write the background, so I'm just giving you one example here. Yeah, it is a writing video. If there's a mismatch in the information there, I'll correct that in a little bit to touch. Okay. All right. So here we go. So within this culture, many people believe that by sharing information freely among all humanity, the future of the world will be or is enhanced. Okay? So that's why this question is being asked of us, because many people think that information should be free, and much information today is free, right? So we share a lot of information on Facebook and on the internet freely, so a lot of people are getting used to this culture of free information. So knowledge is power. Freedom of expression and speech is a crucial part of most modern societies. Within this culture, many people believe that sharing information freely among all humanity, the future of the world is enhanced. Okay. And then here you can just slide in the thesis statement. So I'm not going to rewrite that. I'm just simply going to copy and paste it, and that's all you need to do on IELTS. Although you don't have the digital tools, you won't be able to copy paste. You just copy it over, or you can write your thesis already a few lines down and then just write the hook and the background before it, so you don't have to double up and waste time. Okay. Although some reasons for sharing information freely include rapid development of science and benefit of humanity, I believe it should not be solicited without pay, because information needs finance and security. Okay? So that's a solid introductory paragraph. If you have a good introduction like that, the rest of the essay should flow nice and smooth, and you shouldn't have difficulties with it. If you're at home and you're practicing task 2, girls and guys, and you're having difficulty as you're writing your essay, so as you're writing body paragraph 1 and 2 and your conclusion, you might want to check your introduction and your thesis. Probably there's something wrong with that thesis. If you have a good thesis, it should be nice and smooth, and you shouldn't be getting stuck. All right? Okay, so now we get into body paragraph 1. Okay, let me just indicate this for people watching the video in the future, that that's the thesis. Okay, and body paragraph 1 starts with your topic sentence. Okay, can somebody give me a topic sentence for this statement? Although reasons for sharing information include rapid development of science and benefit of humanity. So can somebody paraphrase this with some clear, deep understanding? So rapid development of science and benefit of humanity. That's what my topic sentence needs to explore or explain. Okay, so topic sentence, rapid development of science and benefit of humanity. Let's see if somebody can come up with a good topic sentence for body paragraph 1. I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. Yep, scientific breakthroughs. Jeffrey is a good one. Scientific breakthroughs can help humans, and this can be achieved faster when information is accessed easily without the need for financial backing. That would be a good, nice topic sentence. Professional information contributed without need for payment can allow access to a wider range of humans, something like that, Jubilant James. Okay, so remember that here the first paragraph is about without pay, so not needing money, and that is important to have in there, okay? So I would write it like this. So scientific breakthroughs can be achieved faster and more when people do not need to have financial backing to acquire the necessary information or knowledge. Okay, so that would be a good topic sentence for body 1. Scientific breakthroughs, thank you, Jeffrey, for that nice expression there, can be achieved faster and more when people do not need to have financial backing to acquire necessary knowledge. All right, explain that. What do you mean by that? Okay, and try to stay on the positive side of the explanation. This is where a lot of students will say something like, when people have to pay for information, they cannot access it as easily, and this slows down progress. That's not a good explanation because you're just basically approaching it from the negative explanation. You want to try to always stay on the positive side. So stay on the positive side of the explanation. Okay? So let's see if you can give me a positive explanation for how this works. Okay? What do you mean by these scientific breakthroughs when money is not needed? Okay? Manisha, why does rendering information free of cost result in tremendous progress? What does it enable? What does it allow people? This is where you want to use your visualization, your critical thinking. So try to see the picture, okay? Let me ask you this. Do all scientists have lots of money? Let's keep these questions a little bit more simple. Pachu, you're getting into examples. Do all scientists have money? No. Do all smart scientists have money? So I'll show you how I build my logic in my brain. Do all smart people, do all smart scientists have money? And I see that some of the answers are no. Definitely not, right? So what am I trying to get you to realize here? So if not all smart scientists have money, then obviously they have difficulty to realize their research or their dreams until they have money. If they never get money, then that research or that knowledge is lost, right? So that's your explanation. That's what you should use to explain. Scientific breakthroughs can be achieved faster and more when people do not need to have financial backing to acquire the necessary knowledge. There are many smart scientists Scientists who do not have the funds to acquire important information to complete their research. However, when the information is free, this is not a barrier for their progress. For instance, okay, and here you can just make up some kind of an example, all right? So again, after the explanation, always comes your specific example. So can somebody give me an example? Let's see if you can give me an example here. Gaurav says, lack of money is a major hindrance in most research, which can be avoided by sharing information freely. Yeah, that's kind of the right approach as well. So that's an alternative explanation there, Gaurav, and that'll work. Okay, so give me an example. Make one up. Be creative. Okay, it can be anything. The IELTS does not check whether or not what you're saying is true. You can write, I read in a magazine, or I heard in the radio or on the radio, I saw on a TV show. So you can put a lot of different leading expressions there to start off your example. You can simply say for instance or for example, and then give me something specific. Okay. What is some information that's being shared freely in the world that's helping science to advance? Can you think of any information out there in the world that is free of charge and really helps the science of the world to advance and benefit people? So Maria says, for example, students from public universities. Finish that sentence, Maria. Let's see where you're going with it. I'm sure a couple of you will come up with something nice for me to put in there. Again, I want to teach you how to fish, not just give you fish. My goal here is for you to generate these ideas on your own. For instance, most Indian scientists end up not completing their research as they do not receive the information due to lack of funds. Gaurav, again, that's the negative example. Try to go from the positive side. For instance, to conduct research on preteen neonates, lots of money is required. Hence, the investigators in charge of the research look for financial help from the WHO. That's okay again, Jubilant, James, but you want to go from the positive side. So, for instance, information on cancer can be accessed freely on the internet, and this allowed Dr. James Cornick, a poor physician in, let's choose a country here, any country in Ireland, to come up with a pill which helps cure skin cancer and benefits people around the world. Okay, so again, you can just make it up. I completely made this up. There isn't a person called Dr. James Cornick, as far as I know, who thought about this. I'm just making it up. For instance, information on cancer can be accessed freely on the internet, and this allowed Dr. James Cornick, a poor physician in Ireland, to come up with a pill which helps cure skin cancer and benefits people around the world, okay? So that would be a good example. Salman, YouTube free video lectures are helping students learn IELTS and hence achieve their goals and contribute to benefit the world. That would be an okay example as well, Salman. Nice way to take it out of real life, okay? All right. Although, or even though, because I've used although earlier in the essay. So this is my connecting and concluding sentence. Even though, in this case, free information is beneficial, it is not true in all cases. Okay? So even though in this case free knowledge is beneficial, it is not true in all cases. And I don't want to repeat words even if they're a little bit different, plural, singular. So use the word situation, all right? Even though in this situation free knowledge is beneficial, it is not true in all cases, okay? And then you go to your body paragraph 2. Okay? Now body 2 follows the exact same structure as body paragraph 1. So you need a topic sentence that expands on this point here, which is it should not be without pay because it needs finance and security. And then it needs to have an explanation, as this one did here. It also needs an example, and it does not necessarily need a connecting or concluding sentence because it's followed by the concluding paragraph, which is enough. Okay? So, yep, there's a correction there, Manisha. Tough, even though, yep, thank you for that. A little bit of a typo, missing H. All right. While I'm dawdling away here, please try to give me a topic sentence for this second body paragraph. Okay? I'll leave this to you. Can somebody think of a good topic sentence for body paragraph 2? Okay, let's see what you can come up with. Most organizations do not put exact information on the internet. I'm not sure where you're going with that, Rahimullah. If you're just joining in and you're not sure what we're doing here, just take a look at the stream description. You'll find that the question for this task 2 is available there, and then you can catch up to us. So just check that out. Topic sentence, girls and guys. I'm still waiting for that topic sentence. Let's see if you can come up with it. Yeah, okay, Pachu, that's a good try. So information should not be shared freely because it is related to national security and dignity of others. That's kind of okay, Pachu. That's a good start on there. High quality research demands money. Talha is okay, absolutely as well. Yeah. Begzad says, on the other hand, knowledge has some very negative impacts on the globe, such as those informations can be harmful in all science and share knowledge regarding nuclear. I think you're trying to put too much information, Begzad, into your topic sentence. Keep it more simple than that. So, much information requires payment to be viable and to produce and maintain. Also, certain types of information in the wrong hands can be devastating for society. Okay? So here I'm doing it as a 2-part sentence, and it works fine. So much information requires payment to produce and maintain. Also, certain types of information in the wrong hands can be devastating for society. There are many professionals, so here's the explanation. There are many professionals whose jobs are to produce research and new concepts. When they are not paid for this work, they can no longer generate science. In addition, some of this information, research, deals with dangerous fields such as nuclear physics, okay, and pharmaceuticals. All right, so that's the explanation. We've talked about it a little bit. Now I'm just basically putting that into sentences. Okay, so that's my explanation. These are not really examples yet. Let's see if you can give me an example. Okay. Meanwhile, I'll read some of your comments. Kira says, knowledge should not be shared freely because researchers need finance and protection. That's a good one, Kira, and then lead into this explanation here. Jeffrey says, scientists need to be a form of business, hence they should have rewards. That's a good one, Jeffrey. You just need to clean up the grammar a little bit. And then you're continuing. They rely on support from business and government, so money is crucial for gaining that information. Absolutely, Jeffrey. So you're on the right track, okay? All right. So let's see. Sandeep, if you have a specific question or you need my help, rather than being rude, please just send me an email and ask away, and then I will try to help you, okay? All right, let's see if you can come up with an example, something from the real world. You can be imaginary, you can make it up. Again, it doesn't matter. Just do your best. I think this one's probably easier than the previous one. All you have to think about is a valuable piece of information or a dangerous piece of information that none of us would want anyone to share freely, and then adapt that to some specific example, okay? So Jubilant says, for example, during browsing the internet, I came to know that apple seeds are very dangerous and contain cyanide. Hence, it could be used to inflict harm on society. Yeah, that's a good one. Rumi, if you want to check out how much the full course is in your part of the world, if you're studying for academic IELTS, go to aehelp.com. Or if you're studying for general, go for gieltshelp.com, and you'll see the price there in the payment form, okay? It depends on where you are in the world. Okay, Pachu says, for example, giant technology company like Apple and Samsung do not reveal their information because if leaked, it can be dangerous to maintain their business and keep producing newer and newer cell phones. Absolutely, yeah, it's possible. Okay, that's what I'm thinking of, Pachu. So that was kind of a right example there. For instance, last year, an act of terror occurred because some criminals were able to learn how to make explosives using free information on the internet. Okay, So yeah, something like that could be a good example. Very powerful, very relevant. It definitely happens. For instance, last year an act of terror occurred because some criminals were able to learn how to make explosives using free information on the internet. This should not be allowed. This clearly should not be permissible. And for this reason alone, not all information should be free to access for everyone. Okay, so that would be a connecting or concluding sentence for this paragraph, all right? Okay, so we have our body 1, we have our body 2. Let me read Dr. Bilal's specific example here as well. Pharmaceutical research needs proper funding and monitoring by ethical review boards. Without legit financial resources, such research can go into the wrong hands to get money. Absolutely, that's a good example as well, maybe a little bit more of an explanation. Okay, and then you have your conclusion. So you've discussed both sides of the argument, or both views. Sorry, it's not an argument. You've discussed both views, so you're doing a good job there. And then you write your concluding paragraph. Your conclusion has 3 parts. And the first part is a restatement of your points. Okay, restatement of points here, keep it really, really simple. So, sharing or distributing information free of charge can help in some cases, in certain aspects, but can also be detrimental to society. And you can always start it off by saying in conclusion. Okay? So very simply, I'm just restating my 2 points here. In conclusion, distributing information free of charge can help in certain aspects, but can also be detrimental to society. Although some believe people should give as much knowledge pro bono as possible, I strongly believe the opposite. Okay, and then that is my restatement of argument. So that's the second point of your conclusion. And then you have your take-home message. So I'm just getting your help on some of the parts here that students miss out and mess up on a bit. And the take-home message is very common for people to forget about or to mess up on. And you're right, Manisha, that's the last part. A valuable piece of writing or a valuable essay always has some kind of a piece of message or information that's useful to the reader in some way, either in their thinking or in their behavior. So a take-home message is good to include. What would be a good take-home message here? Pro bono jubilant means free of charge. Okay, it means for free. So although some people believe although some believe people should give as much knowledge pro bono as possible, I strongly believe the opposite. And what's the take-home message here? So what can we say as a valuable piece of information to our reader based on our expression of these 2 views? Okay. So what can we do there? What's that take-home message? I'll give you a few more seconds to think about that answer. Yeah, that's not bad, Murasa. So people should be careful to underestimate the value and power of knowledge. Yeah, that's a very good one. People should be careful to underestimate the value and power of knowledge. That is a mistake that many of us make in our lives, and we're often reminded with very painful lessons to not underestimate the value of power and knowledge. Okay? All right, let's check our essay. Even though we wrote it piece by piece, paragraph by paragraph, sentence by sentence, it should make sense when you know what the right structure is and when you know what the right strategy is. Let's read it, see how it looks, see if we can get at least a 7.5, 8, 8.5, maybe even a 9. All right, introduction. Knowledge is power. Freedom of expression and speech is a crucial part of most modern societies. Within this culture, many believe that by sharing information freely among all humanity, the future of the world is enhanced. Although some reasons for sharing information freely include rapid development of science and benefit of humanity, I believe it should not be solicited without pay because information needs finance and security. Scientific breakthroughs can be achieved faster and more when people do not need to have financial backing to acquire the necessary knowledge. There are many smart scientists who do not have the funds to acquire important information to complete their research. However, when the information is free, this is not a barrier for their progress. For instance, information on cancer can be accessed freely on the internet, and this allowed Dr. James Cornick, a poor physician in Ireland, to come up with a pill which helps cure skin cancer and benefit people around the world. Even though in this situation free knowledge is beneficial, it is not true in all cases. Much information requires payment to produce and maintain. Also, certain types of information in the wrong hands can be devastating for society. There are many professionals whose jobs are to produce research and new concepts. When they are not paid for this work, they can no longer generate science. In addition, some of this research deals with dangerous fields such as nuclear physics and pharmaceuticals. For instance, last year an act of terror occurred because some criminals were able to learn how to make explosives using free information on the internet. This clearly should not be permissible, and for this reason alone, not all information should be free to access for everyone. In conclusion, distributing information free of charge can help in certain aspects, but can also be detrimental to the community. Although some believe people should give as much knowledge pro bono as possible, I strongly believe the opposite. People should be careful to underestimate the value and power of knowledge. Okay, yeah, I think you'll probably do fairly well if you have that little bit of redundancy in there, but more or less you do a very good job of tackling the question, of paying attention to the specific question, which is discuss both these views, and this essay definitely does that. I guarantee that if you write this for this question, you'll get 7.5, 8, maybe even higher, all right? So we can check the words, Jeffrey. I would guess probably around 300 as well, but it'll only take me a moment to check that, so no worries. Just bear with me a moment. Just have to do a quick little highlight here. Thanks to technology. By the way, in IELTS, they actually count it. So somebody sits there and counts the average number of words you have per line and then sums it up. Yeah, this one's about 330 words, Jeffrey. So it's about 330, all right? Again, if you're going for those higher scores, 7.5, 8.5, you're definitely closer to that 300, 315 mark. Okay, girls and guys, so that is writing task 2, where you have to discuss both views. for a question. Again, this was requested by one of our sponsors. If you are a sponsor, please don't be shy. If you have questions that you find difficult, you can request a class and we'll schedule that in. Now's a good time, sponsors, to be requesting topics for classes because we're making up the new schedule for July. So please do send me an email. Tomorrow we'll do some speaking practice with some strategy, and then I'll include the new schedule at that time. Again, if you want all the help from us that we can afford, please make sure to join us at aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Rumi, we just did a reading class the other day, so check out some of the other videos on the channel. There's tons and tons of reading help for you on the websites, okay? You're very welcome, Amarwadi. Thank you for being here. Manisha, I can absolutely include some speaking topics that are requested by you, so just send me an email on that. Sure, no problem. You're very welcome, Abi. You're very welcome, Gaurav. Thank you for your contributions. You had some really smart points in this class, Gaurav, so that was great. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Much love to all of you. If you are enjoying FIFA, so am I. Make sure to take a moment always to relax during your studies, refresh yourself, and then put all your energy into it. You have beautiful brains, smart minds. Believe in yourself. I believe in you. Don't listen to anybody who tells you otherwise. You will be successful on the IELTS. Just keep at it, okay? We're cheering for you. We're here to support you. Bye for now, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day or have a wonderful night.